Did you know that if you'd invested just $100 in Bitcoin back in 2010, you'd be a millionaire today? Indeed, Bitcoin, the world's first decentralized digital currency, has revolutionized the financial landscape, becoming an essential part of the modern digital economy. This transformative technology offers a new perspective on money and finance, challenging the traditional banking system with its decentralized peer-to-peer structure. But what makes Bitcoin tick? What is the process behind it? In this video, we'll delve into the intricacies of Bitcoin, exploring topics such as the mining process and its significant energy consumption. We'll also look into the sustainability aspect of mining and discuss the perspectives of key figures on Bitcoin and its future. Additionally, we'll touch upon the concept of Bitcoin-related exchange-traded funds and share some real-life stories that highlight the impact of Bitcoin on lives and businesses across the globe. So, buckle up as we dive into the fascinating world of Bitcoin. To understand Bitcoin, you must first understand the process of mining and its implications. Mining is the backbone of Bitcoin. It is the process that validates the transactions and secures the network. But how does it work? Well, imagine a colossal digital ledger, recording every Bitcoin transaction ever made. This ledger is split into chunks called blocks. Each block contains a list of transactions. Now, miners come into play. They use powerful computers to solve complex mathematical problems. What's the prize for all this hard work? The first miner to solve the problem gets to add the new block of transactions to the blockchain, the ever-growing chain of blocks that make up the Bitcoin network. And as a reward, they receive a certain amount of Bitcoin. But why is this process so important? Well, the computational power needed to solve these problems makes the network extremely secure. It creates a kind of digital fortress around the Bitcoin network, making it resistant to attacks and fraud. But there's a catch. This computational power requires a lot of energy. Let's put it into perspective. The global Bitcoin network consumes more energy annually than some countries. And this has led to a heated debate. On one side, we have those who argue that this energy consumption is a necessary cost for a secure and decentralized financial system. On the other side, critics point out the environmental impact of such high energy consumption. So, where does this leave us? The answer is complex. Bitcoin's mining process is integral to its existence. It secures the network and validates the transactions, but it's also clear that the energy consumption is a significant issue that needs to be addressed. The question is not whether Bitcoin mining is good or bad. The question is how we can make it more sustainable while maintaining the security and decentralization that make Bitcoin special. Clearly, mining is crucial for Bitcoin, but it also presents a significant challenge in terms of energy consumption. But fear not, for where there are challenges, there are also solutions. As we delve deeper into the world of Bitcoin mining, we find ourselves at the intersection of technology and sustainability, a place where innovation meets responsibility and where the future of our digital economy is being shaped. The sustainability of Bitcoin mining is a topic of increasing importance. Mining Bitcoin requires a significant amount of energy. This has led to concerns about its environmental impact. But it's not all doom and gloom. Technology is ever evolving, and so are the solutions to these challenges. Emerging technologies are paving the way for more sustainable mining practices. Renewable energy sources like solar and wind power are being harnessed to fuel the mining process. Innovative cooling methods are being developed to reduce the energy required to keep mining equipment at optimal temperatures. And new energy-efficient mining hardware is being designed to do more with less. But like most things in life, these solutions are not without their controversies. Some argue that the use of renewable energy for Bitcoin mining is diverting resources away from other more important uses. Others question whether these new technologies are truly sustainable, or if they merely shift the environmental impact elsewhere. And then there are those who believe that the energy consumed by Bitcoin mining is a necessary cost for the security and decentralization of the network. They argue that compared to traditional financial systems, the energy consumption of Bitcoin is not out of line. And when you factor in the potential for Bitcoin to bring financial services to the unbanked and underbanked populations of the world, some would say that's a cost worth bearing. These are complex issues with no easy answers. But one thing is clear: the conversation around sustainable Bitcoin mining is just getting started. As technology advances and our understanding of these issues deepens, we can expect to see more innovative solutions being put forward. So where does that leave us? Well, it's up to us to stay informed, to ask the hard questions, and to push for solutions that balance the needs of our digital economy with the health of our planet. As we can see, the debate around sustainable Bitcoin mining is far from over. Now, let's hear from some of the key figures in the Bitcoin community. Engaging with the thoughts of industry leaders always helps to broaden our understanding. Take, for instance, the inventor of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto. Though elusive, his writings emphasized Bitcoin's potential to provide financial sovereignty. Then we have the Winklevoss twins, who champion Bitcoin as an asset that can outshine gold. Their bullish stance on Bitcoin's future and its potential to disrupt traditional financial systems is echoed by many within the community. On the other hand, critics like Bill Gates point out the environmental concerns associated with Bitcoin mining, highlighting the need for more sustainable practices. The contrasting opinions of these key figures spark lively debates, driving innovation and evolution within the realm of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. They shape the narrative, challenge the status quo, and inspire the community to continuously strive for improvement. These influential figures certainly shape the narrative and direction of Bitcoin. Another big topic in the Bitcoin world is the role of exchange-traded funds, or ETFs. Let's dive right into it. What exactly are ETFs? Well, they're a type of investment fund and exchange-traded product, traded on stock exchanges. ETFs are unique because they offer the best of two worlds. They combine the diversification benefits of mutual funds with the ease of trading that comes with stocks. Now, how does this relate to Bitcoin? A Bitcoin ETF is simply an ETF that tracks the price of Bitcoin. This means that investors can gain exposure to the price movement of Bitcoin without the challenges of buying, storing, and safekeeping Bitcoin itself. This is a game changer because it opens up the world of Bitcoin to a wider audience. Institutional investors, for example, who are restricted from buying Bitcoin directly due to regulatory or policy constraints, could instead buy a Bitcoin ETF. This could potentially bring a lot of new money into the Bitcoin market, driving up demand and consequently the price. But it's not all rainbows and sunshine. There are some risks and downsides associated with Bitcoin ETFs. One of the key concerns is that the price of the ETF might not accurately reflect the price of Bitcoin. This is due to the fact that the price of an ETF is determined by market forces of supply and demand, which may not always align with the actual price of Bitcoin. Additionally, while a Bitcoin ETF might make it easier for institutional investors to enter the Bitcoin market, it could also make it easier for them to exit. This could potentially lead to increased volatility in the Bitcoin market. Finally, there's the risk of centralization. Bitcoin was designed to be decentralized with no single entity in control. However, if a large portion of Bitcoin ends up being held by a few ETF providers, this could potentially undermine Bitcoin's decentralization. In conclusion, ETFs could potentially play a significant role in the future of Bitcoin adoption. But like all things in life, they come with their own set of pros and cons. As always, it's important for investors to do their own research before jumping in. But beyond the technical aspects, Bitcoin has also had a profound impact on people's lives. Let's delve into some of these impactful stories. Consider the tale of a Venezuelan teacher who, amidst economic instability, turned to Bitcoin as a means of survival. With inflation skyrocketing, the value of the local currency plummeted. Yet by mining and trading Bitcoin, he was able to provide for his family and even help his community. Or take the story of a Kenyan farmer who used Bitcoin to bypass exorbitant bank fees and lengthy processes. Through Bitcoin, she was able to directly sell her produce to global buyers, significantly increasing her income and opening up new opportunities. And who could forget the early adopters who, despite the skepticism and uncertainty, believed in the potential of Bitcoin and are now reaping the rewards of their foresight. These stories truly illustrate the transformative power of Bitcoin. It's not just about technology, it's about real people and real change. As we've seen, Bitcoin is not just a digital currency, it's a revolution. We've delved into the crux of Bitcoin mining, exploring the intricate process that fortifies the network's security. We've also tackled the elephant in the room, the formidable energy consumption it entails. But fear not, for we've illuminated the path to a more sustainable future in mining. where innovation and technology pave the way. We've heard from key figures, their perspectives shaping the narrative of this digital frontier. We've dissected the concept of Bitcoin ETFs, their potential to accelerate adoption, and the challenges they present. And we've shared impactful stories, human experiences that underscore the transformative power of Bitcoin. In this vast landscape of Bitcoin, we've only just scratched the surface. There's so much more to uncover, to question, to learn. So stay tuned for more insights into the captivating world of Bitcoin in our next episode.